I'm a non-attorney spokesperson.
This is Scott Kaplan and Crew Tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the mightier 1090 AM ESPN Radio. SoCal Sports Talk. Here's Scott Kaplan, Alex Padilla, and John Browner.
Hey, great friends. What's happening on a Thursday afternoon? It's Kaplan and Crew with Grande and the Brown Man. Brown Man out today. Jason Lawhead in today. And we are in the 7 Mile Casino studios, 7milecasino.com. Okay, I will say this. Max Starks, Westwood 1, Jaguars, Chargers game broadcast this Saturday. We're expecting Max to stop by sometime here in the near future. So hang for that. But Grande, to set up with Jay and everybody else, so many things we want to get to today. It could be NFL playoffs.
Yes.
It could be Coachella lineup. It could be Padres with more news. It could be all of a sudden now video from what I think is Odell Beckham getting kicked off a flight. Do I have that right?
Correct.
So there's so many things. Oh, I'll tell you something else I really want to talk about today. Derek Carr and his goodbye to Raider fans. I want to get to that. So head is swirling. Lots going on. Going to jump in and get to all of it and expecting Max to stop by. But Grande, why don't you take the lead here and let's start off here at home with the latest Padres news, which kind of, I mean, I didn't know. I knew that they probably weren't done, but I was thinking maybe more a little bit on the pitching side of things, or maybe an outfielder of some kind, but still talking DH. Let's get into this.
Padres signed veteran and old man Nelson Cruz to a 1-year, $1 million deal. Now, if you remember, I don't know if you would remember, Scott, but Nelson Cruz has been linked to AJ Preller pretty much since AJ got here, almost it feels like. But I think just the last 2 seasons in general, Nelson Cruz has been linked to a move to San Diego. But now he's officially signed to the Padres. Here's why it's interesting. Number one, Nelson Cruz is the GM of the Dominican Republic World Baseball Classic team. GM/player.
Okay, so just real quick. So Nelson Cruz is 42 years old. Now, look, I guess back in the old days, if a baseball player or any athlete was 42 years old, you'd be like, oh, man, that guy is way over the hill. But when I see LeBron at 38 destroying, when I see Tom Brady at 45 still leading a team to the playoffs, I'm not as concerned about somebody's age as I used to be. 42 to me can still play. But you're saying that Nelson Cruz is also like he's the general manager of the World Baseball Classic team from the Dominican Republic?
Yes.
That's like a big deal,
which
I think.
Also theoretically would have 3 Padres players on it if one of them wasn't suspended.
So you'd have Manny. You'd have
Soto.
You'd have Soto. And you would have Tatis, I suppose.
Yes.
But Tatis' suspension means he can't even play in the World Baseball Classic.
Correct.
So here's a question for you. Nelson Cruz, is he being brought in because he can actually I'm asking you like you're AJ Preller.
No, yeah, and I'll answer it like I'm AJ Preller because I think I have an answer.
So is Nelson Cruz signed to the Padres because he can contribute, or is Nelson Cruz signed to the Padres because he can babysit like the 3 stars? And by the way, I mean, Nelson Cruz, when you sign a guy to a $1 million contract, they got that in their pockets.
Yeah.
That's like, we don't really have high expectations that he'll do anything per se, but there's no risk. It's only $1 million.
I mean, the guy's just 2 years removed from 32 home runs and 86 RBIs and a 265 average at the age of 40. And yeah, I mean, last year he didn't do much with Washington, but Washington didn't do much. I mean, $1 million. I think it's with obviously the NL going to a full-time DH, and the way sometimes the Padres can find themselves in a little injury and some hitting slumps, and a guy that maybe go in there and just give you a little life for a while. I love the signing. Are you lighting
Did you
candles?
just send the mood right now, or
Yeah, I know.
did you fart?
I didn't mean to make y'all. I didn't
know,
mean to get y'all
dude.
worked up with that.
I think you got him in the mood, Jason, where you're like, oh, he's
Yeah.
just 1 year removed from hitting 265 and 32
2
home
years
runs
removed,
with
yeah.
86 RBIs.
Yeah, at 40 years of age.
Yeah. Scott's
No,
thinking about
I
what he
just-
could do in his 50s if
No, I
Nelson
mean,
Cruz is
like,
doing this in his 40s.
You look
Yeah,
at
I
that,
usually
though.
have like candles lit in my studio when we're on,
Okay.
because I like the smell of the like vanilla,
Mhm.
and I realized that I don't smell any vanilla, and I think I'm not positive, but if I had to bet, my dog probably peed in this room at some point,
Multiple
and
times.
I feel like I can smell it, and it bothers me because
Yeah.
I can't find it to clean it. But then I can smell it. And then if I go get a carpet cleaning guy, carpet cleaning guys are expensive.
Yeah.
Like really
I knew
expensive.
you were gonna-
You
right
know?
when you said, if I go get a
Yeah.
carpet cleaning guy, I knew that was coming. I mean,
Because
I
I'm
could
so
have written
cheap,
that
Jay.
for you.
Jay,
You
I'm
could go
so
to
cheap.
So am I. Like we don't turn the heat on. That's why I'm wearing a winter hat, bro.
Oh my God, dude, I've got space heaters now. I refuse to turn the heat on.
But I just knew that was good. You know how
Well, dude, it's-
expensive carpet
But you guys
You know what it
you
is?
guys
You
might
know-
be cheap, but you're not lazy. You can go to Vaughn's and get a rental
That's what
carpet cleaner and do it yourself.
No, I can't.
That's what my
No,
wife and I
can't.
do. We do it twice a year. We go to Home Depot. We rent the big industrial carpet because we only have carpeting up our stairs and in the bedrooms up here, and then that's what we do.
I can't do that.
Even though our cats use the box, we don't have to worry about that. It's just the twice
say
a year we
cat-
do a spring cleaning, fall cleaning. But yeah, we
You said cats. Like
cats,
plural?
yeah.
You have
Oh
cats?
yeah,
Multiple
it's
cats?
been in my stand-up act. I married into the game.
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
but we do that, and it's just like whatever, $30 for the day. You return it later that day, and they're great. They're great.
Yeah,
I have
well, let me ask you a question. A
Mhm.
quick question for you. You ready?
Mhm.
I'm not capable of doing that. Sounds like you are.
My wife, she's the she spearheads it all. She's like, we can get
Okay.
this. She fills out all the things. She knows what. I just do all the like, pick up the big thing, put it in the car when you go get it from the guy at the back of the store, bring it back, and yeah, she directs it all. She's just like,
Will you
put
guys
it up
come
in
do-
this room. Do
Will you guys come do my carpets?
She
This way I don't
you
have
know
to
what?
hire some really expensive carpet guy.
Probably would be able to give you an estimate after the rental. She would get. I'm telling you, my wife, she would, because she's a business owner, right? So she would probably be able to be like, look, this is how much it costs us. Time to go pick it up. We're gonna mark that up 20%, and then we'll just do the labor for this. How big's your square footage? She's brilliant. I don't even know how. So she probably.
I don't know how
could.
I do not know how you are married to this woman. I mean, honestly,
I don't
like
either.
honestly, your wife is so much younger than you
Yep.
and so good looking. Now, by the way, I'm
Beautiful.
not saying you're not a handsome guy.
I'm a pretty handsome guy, and
No, you're a
for
decent
50,
looking
I've
guy.
kept myself in pretty good shape.
Yeah, you're looking good. But she is like she's so hot, your wife.
She is.
Sorry,
Lucky.
God, this sounds
No.
creepy, doesn't it?
No, it doesn't. I mean, guys will check out my wife as I think it's funny. It's funny, like we walk through a mall or something. I got, funny story. Vince Vaughn looked my wife up and down and checked her out and watched her walk away from a bar. It was, I think, 2018. I was up at the Forum show with Bill Burr. Bill Burr was performing at the Forum. He invited a bunch of people. He had a huge private party before and after in the old Forum Club down in there, and he sold out the Forum, and he had a guest list. And we went into that Forum Club party pre-party, just had a little appetizers, and then you go up into your seats, you watch a show, and then he had a blowout after the show, and they had bars set up and buffets, everything. It was really swank, and we were just chilling in a little couch area, talking to a couple other comics and introducing my wife to people she had never met. And there was a little bar, and she's like, hey, I'm gonna go get another glass of white wine. I was like, go ahead. That was the year I wasn't drinking, so I was not drinking anything. And she went over, and Vince Vaughn was already there. We had, a bunch of people were there, but Vince Vaughn was there with his crew, and they were standing near the bar, and she walked up and she got her wine, and then she reached over to get and I was watching her the whole time, and she reached over to get it, and she was looking good that night. She had some nice tight jeans on, and she was looking good. And she grabbed it, she moved over a little spot to the right to grab a couple cocktail napkins, and he spotted her. And I'm like, I was watching it, I was like, oh, he sees her. And then he spotted her, and she had to excuse herself from a couple of people. And he's tall. He was standing over his whole crew, right? They're all shoulder around him, and he's telling the story. He's holding court. and I could see him like his eyes moved over towards her body as she walked away, and he just like checked her out. He checked her out, and he was like nodding to somebody, and she was coming back this way, and I was like, babe, Vince Vaughn just locked in on you. She was like, no. I go, Vince Vaughn just locked in on you and watched you walk away from the whole. And she's just kind of cute sometimes. She's like, well, I am kind of looking good tonight. So that was cool.
Hypothetically, Vince Vaughn starts talking to her at the bar and thinks he can work your wife and get her out of there on the spot, right? She comes walking back over to you and she's like, babe, Vince Vaughn and I, I'm putting in, the hall pass right now. You okay with that?
No. Well, I would have to do I would have to be a like, how much is it? Is this one of those indecent proposals? Because maybe I'll think about it. Let me sleep on a suitcase of $1 million for this one, or 10 million. But no.
Or how about you walk up to Vince Vaughn? You're like, yo, you want my wife for the night? What's the next movie going into production?
Exactly. I want the next four comedy leads. It would have to be that. But no.
Four leads in 4 movies.
4 leads and 4.
You give your wife to Vince Vaughn for the night. Sorry.
Yeah. Right. And just she might even be like, look, if it gets us out of that 2-bedroom. I mean, we share my studio and her piano. She plays piano. How about if we share that room? She might be like, oh, if we could get.
How about if those 4 movies mean that you sell out the Forum? Let's do it. It's worth it.
She might do it for me, but no, that would be a.
Can you live your life knowing that she was?
No, I don't think Vaughn. I don't think you could. I don't.
Oh, I easily could. No problem for me.
Well, the crowd you roll with, who knows what you get down with in Cardiff, dude?
What do you mean?
The Cardiff crowd.
There's vibes coming from that part of town that you guys both live in. Like swinging
vibes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like toss around partners. Yeah.
Oh, stop it. That's all reputation. There was remember that website? It was called Ashley Madison, I think.
Yes.
Which was like how people hook up when they're in relationships. Mm-hmm. They said that the number one like swinger community based on zip code was Carmel Valley.
Really?
Here in San Diego.
Come on.
So everybody knew that I lived in Carmel Valley, and everybody's like, oh yeah, I heard about you people.
Yeah, like which is very, very rare, but like when I step foot in places like the Kraken, I'm like, oh, this is just like, yeah, people are married, but are they really married?
Really? That's the vibe you got in the Kraken?
Anytime I've been as soon as I go north of Via de la Valle, I could smell the swing.
That's funny.
Dude, that's hilarious. Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Yeah, you can.
Oh God, that's funny. All right, listen. I don't know how we got started into all this. We are. I guess Max Starks is going to join us. Oh, it is all Nelson Cruz's fault. Max Stark's going to join us in a few minutes.
Well, actually, no, it's all your fault because you got turned on by Jason's stat line reading that you turned.
That's how it all. How it all shifted.
It is
right.
Okay.
Well, it was the lighting of the candle.
Yeah.
And then it ended with stalking swingers.
Yeah. First, we were talking about.
And speaking of swingers,
why'd they sign Nelson Cruz? I don't know. Maybe Jason's wife's gonna have sex with Vince Vaughn. Who knows?
Your wife is definitely going to sleep with Vince Vaughn. I definitely think that's going to happen.
That's hilarious.
I think that's going to happen. All right, we'll get back to Nelson Cruz in 1 second because it's so much more fun than talking about Jason's wife and Vince Vaughn sleeping together. Before we do, hey, Alex, give everybody a quick update here on today is Thursday. So you took your injection from iThrive on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Where are we at today?
I need a new scale. I think I broke it because it was giving me lots of readings, but I'm like 30 pounds, I think. It could be more. Today I weighed in and it was a lot less than it was yesterday. So I don't really know what's going on, but it's been like, I think in general about 30 pounds in the last 3.5 months. So
unbelievable.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
It's crazy. Like literally, I told you, like this sweater, it was given to us. How long ago did we interview the people from Garcia?
It was summertime of last year.
Yeah. So like when I got it, it didn't fit. Like it was just super tight. Couldn't put it over my moobs. And today I was like, hey, I wonder if this fits now. And literally fits.
Look at money.
Yeah.
So here's the deal. I Thrive, you can lose weight with an FDA approved product that's guaranteed to help you lose weight. You don't have to change your lifestyle. You don't have to change your diet. You don't have to change your exercise habits. Things will happen on their own for you, as Alex has told us the story time and again. Um, and you're saving $200 a month through the first 3 months. Now, in the first 3 months, Alex has lost 30 pounds. So you may save the $600 through the first 3 months and you may get off of it at that point. So you might as well try it for 3 months while you're saving the $200 a month. 858-240-1497, 858-240-1497, I Thrive MD. And really make it easy. Go to kaplanandcrew.com, click on the I Thrive MD logo. It'll take you there to I Thrive Lean. You'll learn all about it. Pretty simple stuff. Okay. All right. So, Alex, if you could, since this whole Nelson Cruz stat line thing got me to turn on vanilla candles in my studio,
Yeah.
and then turn the whole conversation in an area that we weren't expecting to go. Get us back on Nelson Cruz here for a second, because I was asking you, you were going to play AJ Preller, and my question to you was, what is Nelson Cruz bringing? Jason read the stats from last year in Washington. He's 42 years old. He's the general manager of the World Baseball Classic team from the Dominican Republic, which has Manny Machado and Juan Soto, and would have Tatis if Tatis weren't suspended. So what are we doing here?
I think let's just get the baseball out of the way, because I think for me, the way I read this is that's the least important thing of the deal, is what he's going to contribute on the field. I think that if he can miraculously get back to 2021 and hit 265 and 32 home runs or whatever and 86 RBIs, I think the Padres are throwing him a parade, because I don't think they're expecting that. I think what he did last year, which was a combined of 234, 10 home runs, 64 RBI. Like, that's kind of what I think we're going to get from Nelson Cruz on the field. This is what he did last year in 124 games. But in reality, what I think the Padres are getting from Nelson Cruz is a guy to help Tatis maneuver through this season after his positive suspension. Nelson Cruz in 2013 himself was suspended 50 games. He was tied to the whole Balco situation and A-Rod. And then he came back and had his most impressive seasons as a professional baseball player after the suspension. And I think that what he went through, the way that he was able to navigate through playing under that microscope and still having career years the next 6 or 7 years after that, is what I think that they brought him along to be that guy to help Tatis maneuver his way through this season, because it's not going to be easy for Tatis.
Okay, so hey, look, we can't lean on Manny to babysit this kid, because we need Manny to be the best Manny he can be. Juan Soto is also a young guy. Juan Soto's not about to go babysit this kid, because Juan Soto is going to be concentrating on his game to get his money. And by the way, he's a child too. So we need a grown-up, an adult. Who did they try and use last year?
Robinson Cano.
Right. That was a mess.
Well, I think people made the joke that he probably gave Tatis PEDs.
Yeah, right.
So because Cano didn't learn from his lesson.
Right. So Nelson Cruz coming to the Padres as more of a veteran backup quarterback. Hey, here's our star quarterback, Tatis. We need somebody that can help him navigate the season, help him like valet for the guy, if you will. We'll pay you $1 million. And by the way, you're the general manager of the Dominican Republic World Baseball Classic. When you're done playing, we'll bring you into our
role for you.
Scouting department. Yeah, we'll bring you into our front office.
We spend a lot of time in the Dominican signing guys from the Dominican, which they do.
Interesting. It's an interesting signing.
I think he's gonna get plenty of at bats at DH. I don't know how many, but I think he's gonna get plenty of starts to be the DH. I think when this team, it lost Will Myers, it lost Josh Bell, it lost Brandon Drury, it lost Luke Voigt in the middle of the season. I know they signed Matt Carpenter, but you think Carpenter's going to be a plug and play guy. If Kim needs a day off, if Corner needs a day off, if Bogarts needs a day off, they're going to plug and play Carpenter. He's not going to start 162 games for you. I think that you got Carpenter and you got Cruz, and you're hoping that a combination of those two guys and maybe filter out a DH, you kind of have a DH by committee, for lack of a better term.
Well, you got good veteran players. I mean, like guys with real experience.
When you look at this field view too, you look at that lineup.
I mean, he's gonna see pitches, and like I said, He's a couple years away from 32 homers. He was in a terrible lineup last year. I mean, if he DHs here and there, he's going to see pitches in that lineup.
Wow, we're just taking a look at the Padres lineup as it's projected right now, and you just see Tatis in right, Grisham in left, Grisham in center, and Soto in left, and you see Machado and Bogarts over on the left side of the infield, and Kim and Cronenworth second and first. I mean, man, the Padres, dude, it's freaking January 12th. We're going into the wild card weekend. For me, the Chargers, who I'm rooting against, they're playing against Jacksonville, which would be just a great way to finish the Charger season off, to lose to the lowly Jaguars. Alex's team, the Minnesota Vikings, are in the postseason. We got all this football stuff to talk about, and the Padres seem to always find a way to get us from football and back to baseball.
When we come back, it's really, I just showed you the Padres field, their lineup. It's really fascinating to see what the Dodgers lineup looks like right now, because they made a trade yesterday, and you're like, what are they doing?
Okay, and also back to Nelson Cruz for a minute, because Nelson Cruz had comments about Tatis. I want to get into that as well. Plus, we're coming right back to football, including the Derek Carr situation and the playoffs this weekend. This is Kaplan and Crew from the 7 Mile Casino Studios. Don't go.
You're watching Kaplan and Crew tonight, powered by the mightier 1090 AM, ESPN Radio, and Your View, featuring the best sports talk in SoCal.
Dominating the SoCal radio airwaves for over 20 years. Join Scott Kaplan, Alex Padilla, and John Browner for Kaplan and Crew every Monday through Friday, 3 to 6 p.m. only on the mightier 1090 ESPN Radio, SoCal Sports Talk, and the mightier1090.com.
Customer service is a priority for us. We are door and window dealers and specialists in a variety of different product lines. You're going to see 16,000 feet of the largest showroom in San Diego for doors and windows. We have a magnificent space here, much larger than any other dealer in the area, which makes it very comfortable for our customers to see and feel the windows in person. What you need to know about your project, we're going to ask questions about that. We're going to ask about your lifestyle, perhaps whether you have children or pets, which direction the doors and windows are facing. Do you have a view? Is it about opening space? We want to ask these questions to best service you and provide an overall great experience. People find these things beneficial because we can address perhaps threshold conditions, screen conditions, wall depths, colors, anything else that's important to the project prior to ordering, ensuring, again, complete satisfaction in the long run.
Give us a call or visit us online at PriorityDW.com.
When someone you know has COPD, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, things can progress very quickly, making them feel hopeless. But it doesn't have to be like this.
See, Mom, this place is going to be great for you. They're going to help you breathe better.
Pulmonary rehabilitation at La Mesa Rehab focuses on patient education and training. We use special therapies to improve your lungs, clear out mucus, and keep you out of the hospital. Pulmonary Rehab is Medicare approved. Call now to see if you qualify or ask your doctor about La Mesa Rehab today.
What do you want, Anthony?
I'm in town for a big presentation. It's due after the end of the year. My computer got damaged.
What about the backup?
It was in our luggage and it got lost.
On New Year's? I thought you needed me, but apparently you're doing fine, so I...
Would crying have been any better?
Always the charmer.
Jess, I'm sorry about what happened.
It's midnight. Happy New Year's, my friends.
Yeah, super romantic.
Music helps connect everyone. This concert is an amazing opportunity. Mayor Bill Wells and Banding Together will be here, and it's a time for people to sit back, relax, dance, sing, and to have fun, and for all of us to get together. And it's going to be a great night.
What is it about Route 66 that will make a grown man saddle up on a rabbit? I have no idea.
Find out when Driven gets more kicks on Route 66. The road trip continues only on Your View.
You're watching Kaplan and Crew Tonight, powered by the mightier 1090 AM, ESPN Radio, and Your View, featuring the best sports talk in SoCal.
Listen to the Mike Greenberg Show, 7 to 9 a.m. Pacific, Monday through Friday. Greeny brings his unmatched depth of sports knowledge, fun, and entertainment back to ESPN on a daily basis. The mightier 1090 ESPN Radio, SoCal Sports Talk, and the mightier1090.com. We'll be right back with more of Scott Kaplan and Crew Tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew Show on the mightier 1090 AM, ESPN Radio, SoCal Sports Talk.
People often ask, when should I call a lawyer after a car crash? If you're injured, then you should call 911 and seek medical attention right away. Then, assuming the crash wasn't your fault, you should call a lawyer as soon as it's safe to do so. There are several reasons why. First, it ensures that your legal rights are being protected while you focus on your health. Second, getting an investigation started immediately can be vitally important, since the physical evidence at the crash scene, surveillance video, or witnesses may not be around for long. Third, unfortunately, insurance companies may not have your best interests in mind and may try to take advantage of the situation knowing that you are not yet represented. They may try to take recorded statements or make lowball offers. Put it this way, calling a lawyer is free. The cost of not doing so could be quite expensive.
At Shelter to Soldier, being a private nonprofit, we rely on the community. Thankfully, we have sponsors like the Barnes firm that get behind us.
We understand the difficulties that many of our veterans face when they come back into civilian life. And this program just seemed like the perfect fit.
Today we're catching up with Barney. He is now in our matching phase of our program. He is meeting eligible veterans in what we call speed dating.
How's it going?
So we have just recently approved 5 new veterans for our program. So Barney will be meeting every single one of them to see if he is the perfect match for them.
Barney's perfect date would be a nice long walk on the beach, and then he would like to end the night with a nice dinner with his veteran.
We got to find the right person for the right dog.
Most people never expect to get into a crash or trip over a hazard and fall, and they certainly don't expect that it could lead to life-altering injuries. Most of us assume it's just an ache. It'll go away. I'll be fine. And luckily, usually they are right. But unfortunately, some injuries aren't obvious, and the adrenaline of the incident may mask the seriousness of your condition. Plus, when the injury is due to someone else's negligence, then you will have to prove that your injuries are from that incident and not something else. So not only is it important for your health to get checked out to rule out that anything is serious or even potentially life-threatening, it's also important to document your injuries as closely to the event as possible in a medical record. Otherwise, the insurance company will try to use that gap in treatment as proof that your injury is not related to the incident.
Customer service is a priority for us. We are door and window dealers and specialists in a variety of different product lines. You're going to see 16,000 feet of the largest showroom in San Diego for doors and windows. We have a magnificent space here, much larger than any other dealer in the area, which makes it very comfortable for our customers to see and feel the windows in person. What you need to know about your project, we're going to ask questions about that. We're going to ask about your lifestyle, perhaps whether you have children or pets, which direction the doors and windows are facing. Do you have a view? Is it about opening space? We want to ask these questions to best service you and provide an overall great experience. People find these things beneficial because we can address perhaps threshold conditions, screen conditions, wall depths, colors, anything else that's important to the project prior to ordering, ensuring, again, complete satisfaction in the long run.
Give us a call or visit us online at PriorityDW.com.
This is the #1 advice I give to my friends and family. Get the most uninsured motorist, UIM, underinsured motorist coverage that you can. Here's what happens all the time. After a car crash, you have a ton of medical bills, you're out of work, and don't know what the long-term effects of what your injuries will be. Then you find out that the driver who caused the car crash only has $15,000 in insurance. And you say, good thing I'm fully insured. You have good liability, collision, med pay, but only $15,000 in UM/UIM. In that scenario, you and your family are not covered by your insurance at all, and you will be limited to only $15,000 in defendant's available coverage. The premiums for UM and UIM are not expensive, so do yourself a favor, check what your UM/UIM policy amounts are, and make sure at a minimum they're the same as your liability coverage.
Music helps connect everyone. This concert is an amazing opportunity. Mayor Bill Wells and Banding Together will be here, and it's a time for people to sit back, relax, dance, sing, and to have fun, and for all of us to get together. And it's going to be a great night.
If you love animals, Animal Zone is for you. From rescues to animal experts, Animal Zone is fun for the whole family. Watch Animal Zone right here on your view, Saturdays at 8:30 a.m. and visit animalzone.org to learn more about the show.
Drivers are getting in accidents at a rate we've never seen before, jumping 18% since 2020. There are higher incidents of speeding and more aggressive driving since the pandemic began. Please slow down and drive safely. It can save a life.
At Shelter to Soldier, being a private nonprofit, we rely on the community. Thankfully, we have sponsors like the Barnes firm that get behind us.
We understand the difficulties that many of our veterans face when they come back into civilian life. And this program just seemed like the perfect fit.
Today we're catching up with Barney. He is now in our matching phase of our program. He is meeting eligible veterans in what we call speed dating.
How's it going?
So we have just recently approved 5 new veterans for our program. So Barney will be meeting every single one of them to see if he is the perfect match for them.
Barney's perfect date would be a nice long walk on the beach, and then he would like to end the night with a nice dinner with his veteran.
We got to find the right person for the right dog.
From fitness to medical technology, explore how people are leading healthier lives on Your Health. Join Erica Cardenas as she introduces you to health experts and discover how our daily choices affect our well-being. Plus, learn simple tips for healthier living. Your Health, Sunday at 4:30 p.m. on YourView and YourView.com. Brought to you by La Mesa Rehab, improving the lives of those with all types of lung disease and long COVID symptoms.
Customer service is a priority for us. We are door and window dealers and specialists in a variety of different product lines. You're going to see 16,000 feet of the largest showroom in San Diego for doors and windows. We have a magnificent space here, much larger than any other dealer in the area, which makes it very comfortable for our customers to see and feel the windows in person. What you need to know about your project, we're going to ask questions about that. We're going to ask about your lifestyle, perhaps whether you have children or pets, which direction the doors and windows are facing. Do you have a view? Is it about opening space? We want to ask these questions to best service you and provide an overall great experience. People find these things beneficial because we can address perhaps threshold conditions, screen conditions, wall depths, colors, anything else that's important to the project prior to ordering, ensuring, again, complete satisfaction in the long run.
Give us a call or visit us online at PriorityDW.com.
At the Barnes firm, we're seeing more pedestrian and bicycle accidents. Drivers are rolling through red lights, and distracted driving makes every intersection a danger zone for pedestrians. Look both ways when crossing, even if you have the right of way.
Welcome back. This is Scott Kaplan and Crew Tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the mightier 1090 AM ESPN Radio. SoCal Sports Talk. Here's Scott Kaplan, John Browner, and Alex Padilla.
All right, great friends. Hey, it is Thursday afternoon. This is Kaplan and Crew. We are in the 7 Mile Casino Studios. Got Grande and the Brown Man. Although I say the Brown Man had a little 911 earlier today, bounced. And next man up around here is always comedian Jason Lawhead, who's crushing it as always today. Jay Law, we talked a lot of baseball this afternoon. We also talked about your wife possibly sleeping with Vince Vaughn, which was probably one of my favorite parts of the show.
Interesting.
Yeah, probably one of my favorite parts.
Mm-hmm.
Because here's the thing about that, and this is just a side note, and then I'm going to get to football. Listen, if I were to say to my girlfriend, hey, look, I'd like to sleep with Jennifer Aniston, and she's offering it. I think as people who are over 50 years old that have already had children, that have been in lots of relationships in our lives, I think we're cool. I think. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't really run this by her. Maybe I should before talking about it on the air, but I think she'd be okay. I think.
Maybe in that sense, if you've already been through a divorce and you've already been through that stuff and you've raised your kids and you're kind of just like, well, I don't know. Obviously my wife is younger. This is, I'm the guy. So I don't think she'd be cool with, my wife might be like somebody like if she got to pick like somebody that she's a huge fan of, like maybe if I can have, go have brunch with her and talk about it and see, but
you're saying Vince Vaughn's not her guy though.
No, she's not. No. You know who's her guy?
Type.
You know who's her guy? I'll tell you who's her guy. I'll tell you, if my wife ever came to me for one, I know who it would be. You know how you have those like newlywed games where they don't know the answer, but you ask them and then you write it on the board. And then like when she says like, who's the one guy that you'd go with? I bet you I'd have it written down right. She would say Chris Hemsworth. My sign would be like Chris Hemsworth. He got it right. That's her one, I think.
Okay, Alex.
Thor.
Does Mar have hers?
Probably, but I don't know it. Probably, she probably has like Bad Bunny, maybe.
Oh, really?
Bad Bunny.
Mar wants to get down with Bad Bunny.
I just would have maybe. She really, really loves his music, but maybe it's just a musical thing.
Mm-hmm.
She's never been like, oh, he's so fine, but I don't know.
Did you see what happened with Bad Bunny? And we were talking, I think earlier, I think it was might have been in the Dominican Republic. We were talking about Nelson Cruz and the Padres and a lot of DR talk. See that video of that girl who walks up to Bad Bunny and she's like recording, and Bad Bunny like takes her phone and he throws it in this lake or something. I was like, yo, Bad Bunny, that's my phone, man. It's going to cost me a lot of money to go get
I'm
that
not done
replaced.
with this yet, though. I'm not done with this yet because I want to know, Alex, what would yours be?
Yeah. That's a good question.
Because Scott, did you say Aniston or was that just an example?
No.
Okay, you think about it, Alex.
Aniston's my girl.
Aniston would be yours. That would be the hall pad, the one that, and that would be okay.
I've been talking about this on radio for years, hoping that somebody gets to her and goes, hey, there's this guy on radio who keeps talking about wanting to sleep with you.
Would you do it?
Oh, yeah.
No, I'm saying
Prime Salma Hayek is mine.
Prime Salma Hayek. So not current prime.
Well, she's still great. She looks amazing. She's a few years older than me, but like she's still gorgeous and looks amazing. But I would just guess like that's the only like I've ever been like, okay, if I had to give it all up. If I had to ruin it all,
no, you don't
have families not talk to me, whatever.
No, this is the hall pass.
This is a hall pass, dude.
I got you. Okay, so hall pass today, right now. I don't know. I'd have to think about that. I might have to broil that until the next segment.
Marinate on that.
Mm-hmm.
So hey, so you didn't like that Bad Bunny grab? You did or did not like to me? Bad Bunny grabs that girl's phone and throws that girl's phone. I'd be like, yo, Bad Bunny, can't you just say to her, hey, please don't do that? Or, excuse me, like, where's my security team around me? I'm Bad Bunny. I
feel like I feel like that dude has become one of the most famous people on the planet. That he's probably just over it.
I know,
probably
but
just caught
where's
him at a bad
security?
moment.
Don't you think he has security? How's this girl walk up on him like that?
Weren't they at a restaurant or something?
No, they're walking down the street.
Oh,
you didn't see the video?
No.
Yeah.
I saw the trend. That's my girl told me about it, but I haven't seen the official. Let me look it up.
All right.
See what you're talking
take
about.
a look at it. All right.
I did see Bad Bunny's headlining Coachella.
Yeah. My daughter.
But we're gonna get to football.
My daughter said to me, my 16-year-old daughter said to me, she goes, Dad, have you seen the lineup for Coachella? I said, yeah. She said, good thing the lineup sucks so bad. I don't even want to go this year. I'm like, oh,
wow.
Whoa. And I said, but wait a second. It can't suck that bad. I'm like, what if, if you were going to go, who would you want to go see? And she was like, Bad Bunny. So
I just saw the video. Good for him. Get out of my face, bro. We're here walking. He's got plenty of people around him. He
Get
said,
out of my
respect my
face.
personal space. Dude, she went all up next to him. And it looked like you and George Lopez at Disneyland.
I know,
cheek
but
to
how'd
cheek.
she get so
Dude,
on
get some
top of him
space.
like that? I know, but
Because he's trying to be cool, man. He's trying to walk the streets of wherever he's at in Miami.
who was it that
Like,
was
just
in
respect
Dodgers?
people's space, dude.
Who was it that was in Dodger Stadium that was sitting out in right field that was taking pictures with
Kendrick
everybody?
Lamar.
Kendrick Lamar. So if Kendrick
Yeah.
Lamar, and I got it, it's like a PR deal, but still, like, instead of just grabbing her phone and throwing her phone, she's a cute girl, nice girl. She walks up on, yeah, you're in my space. Where's my security so that a person can't walk up on
Well, she
somebody as
didn't-
famous as me?
She doesn't look like me running up to Bad Boy. This is like an attractive young female girl. I'm
Right,
sure
so-
security's like, okay, no big deal.
So
But
he's-
like, she got up all up in his face, dude.
Oh, please.
Oh,
Whatever.
please. Hey,
Right.
get it. Hey,
Hey, what?
you're in my zone.
Yeah.
Your phone is in my zone.
Mm-hmm.
Atlantic.
Really? Atlantic.
Yeah.
Really? Just Atlantic.
Just assuming he's in Miami, dude. I don't really know where
I
he's
thought
at.
he was in the Dominican Republic. All right, let me do this. Let me.
That's still the Atlantic, right?
Yeah. Let me move into some football here. So, okay. Chargers, Jaguars, Saturday, and I think that most of us who are watching and listening right now are rooting for the Jaguars to win. Because I think that we are a community of Charger haters. Now, don't get me wrong. I know there's still Charger lovers out there. It's okay. It's cool. I mean, we can still be friends,
We
Don't have
can
to-
still be friends.
It's okay. I just would love to see Jacksonville beat the Chargers because the Jaguars are one of these franchises that everybody else in the NFL looks down on. Jay, even the Cleveland Browns are like, they're just the Jacksonville Jaguars. But the fact is, the Jaguars, your Browns, our Browns, Browners, Chargers, these sorts of teams, they keep the same company.
Yeah.
The Cincinnati Bengals, you still might have a perception like they're just the Bengals. No, they're not. No, the Bengals are not the Bengals anymore. They're not the Bengals of 5 years ago or the last 25 years. They're a totally different team. Teams like the Chargers and the Jaguars, they're bottom feeders. And Charger fans would go, dude, look at our record this year. Great. We went through the entire schedule yesterday. Jay, you know how many teams the Chargers beat that are in the playoffs?
Well, I've said this on Browner and I's show, even 2 weeks before the the playoffs started. They have the worst strength of victory of any team in football, I believe. When you look at strength of victory percentage, and their strength of schedule was near the bottom as well. But I offhand, I don't know exactly how many.
The only team that the Chargers have beaten that are in the postseason
Would
are the
be
Miami
the
Dolphins.
Yeah, and
Right.
that was a squeaker.
And the Dolphins had just come off the beatdown at the hands of the Niners and had stayed on the road. And that was game 2 of what I believe was a 4-game losing streak. So the Dolphins aren't very good. And they squeaked by the Tennessee Titans at home. And, they beat up on bad teams. And so
Squeaked by the Browns. They were trying to give that game to the Browns at the end, and the Browns missed a game-winning field goal, basically.
So it would be so perfect for the Chargers, for those of us that are on the Charger hater side anyway, it would be so perfect to go to Jacksonville, a team that you kind of look down on, but to lose at Jacksonville, where they've got a real home field advantage, where they've got a Super Bowl winning coach, where they've got an up-and-coming star quarterback, it would be awesome.
And Jacksonville won some games down the stretch.
I wonder
against
if the
some teams,
Chargers.
didn't they beat the Cowboys in over. They beat the Cowboys in
They
overtime.
won 4 or 5 in a row just to make it into the playoffs. I do wonder because Aaron Rodgers in Week 18 was talking down about the Lions for like 3 weeks. Just not respecting what the Lions are, just talking about them in a historical context. The Lions are the Lions or whatever. Who cares? And the players in the Lions noticed that and really went after it, knowing that Aaron Rodgers talks about that way. I truly do wonder if in the Chargers locker room, if they look at the Jaguars that way. If like, dude, the Jaguars, I'm Keenan Allen. I'm a Pro Bowler. I'm an
Slayer.
All-Pro. I'm
Yeah.
one of the best. I'm the crispiest route runner out there. Is that the mentality that this team is going in there with, or are they looking at the
The way they
Jaguars
got
as like, yo,
shellacked by him, the way they got shellacked by him at home, if that's the mentality, then they've already lost this game.
Yeah.
But I keep bringing up the fact that was the game
I get it.
after Justin Herbert broke 5 ribs.
I get it, but still, they got shellacked. Justin Herbert doesn't play defense. Justin Herbert doesn't.
One of the worst
worst
beatdowns of the season in the entire NFL as far as points differential goes.
I mean,
it was like Vikings level-esque, So I just wonder, because you're right, Scott. I think that when I watch the Jaguars play on television, I'm like, well, that's like a lower tier franchise. Even though you're looking at Trevor Lawrence, who was the #1 pick, Travis Etienne, a national champion, is his teammate at Clemson. You're looking at guys like Josh Allen on the other end, who is a legitimate defensive player for the Jaguars. They have an incredible defensive line. They have a Super Bowl winning head coach that won with Nick Foles.
Right.
So you look
and basically
at
that's his team in Philly. The reason he got fired is because he went to bat for Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
I mean, that's his team they fired him from.
Yeah. You imagine firing a coach for Carson Wentz?
Yeah.
Right. They chose Carson Wentz. He was trying to push Jalen Hurts.
He was trying to push Hurts, and then, because remember the NFC East was so bad that year that even like 4-9, you weren't eliminated from winning it yet. But supposedly he packed it in by throwing
or the football team.
Yeah,
the
they were
football
like
team was in it because at like 5 and whatever.
And ownership was like, wait, we can still win this division. He's like, who cares? Like we're 4-9. Like even if we win this division, like who cares? Like let's go to Jalen Hurts, and they fired him for that. And like the Eagles are 14-3. There's a lot of reasons, and I took them on our show.
And he took over, Jason. Sorry to cut you off. He also took over the disaster that Urban Meyer left over. The freaking dumpster fire that Urban lit himself. He came in there and not only balanced the franchise, but gave them a winning record. And I know the AFC South sucks, but still, he won the division in his first year. Like, Doug Peterson is probably one of the best coaches in the NFL that nobody talks about.
After what he did after Urban Meyer,
Jacksonville,
that dude could run FEMA. I mean, I'm telling you, like, that's how bad that was in Jacksonville, what he turned around. Like, that guy could be FEMA director tomorrow with what he's done there. So there's a lot of reasons. And I took Jacksonville in a win tomorrow or Sunday, whenever that game is Saturday.
Yeah.
And I took Jacksonville for these intangibles. The fact that Herbert's great, but Trevor Lawrence is no slouch. I mean, this guy's the #1 overall.
Well, let's just pause right there for 1 second, because Browner here yesterday starts to make this whole point, how much better Herbert is than Lawrence. And the fact is, Herbert's a third-year player. Lawrence is a second-year player. Lawrence, as a first-year starter in the dumpster fire that you guys are describing that Jacksonville was, nobody's really usually successful as a rookie, especially when you're a #1 overall pick and you're playing for a terrible team. I mean, he came in and had to deal with what Peyton Manning had to deal with. And so in year 2, Trevor Lawrence with Doug Peterson and all the things you guys are talking about, they're better. So now let's take a look here for a second at Lawrence versus Herbert and see what the numbers. This is where Browner would tell us we're a bunch of nerds, unless, of course, he wanted to use the numbers. Then it's okay.
I mean, this is pretty basic. This isn't any we're not throwing OPS and
literally his numbers are better almost in a way that he gets a rushing TD, his ratings higher. They have the same amount of touchdowns. It's one game on the record, 25 TD. Like what's 600 yards? That's like 50 yards a game. That's like 50 yards a game more passing.
So Justin Herbert went 10-7, Trevor Lawrence 9-8. Completion percentage for Herbert 68.2, Lawrence 66.3. This is for those that are listening.
Oh yeah.
4,739 passing yards for Justin Herbert, 4,113. So like Jason alluded to, about 600 more passing yards for Herbert. Same amount of touchdowns for each, 25. 10 interceptions for Herbert, 8 for Lawrence. Rushing touchdowns, 5 for Lawrence, none for Herbert. Rating of 93.2 for Herbert, and a rating of 95.2 for Lawrence.
So season for season, the difference between Trevor Lawrence and Justin Herbert is the Chargers won one more game than the Jaguars, and Herbert threw for about 600 more yards, but they had the same number of touchdowns. Lawrence had fewer interceptions, and Lawrence produced 5 touchdowns with his feet, and Herbert had 0.
Yeah.
So
the Charger lovers will turn around and tell me, well, that was Justin Herbert's worst year so far, statistically, even though the team did better. And I was like, yeah, because he didn't have Keenan Allen and Mike Williams for certain X amount of games. Who's Trevor Lawrence throwing to?
Yeah.
Who's Trevor Lawrence throwing
really,
to?
who are the receivers of the Jaguars? I mean,
because he has turned single-handedly Evan Engram's, I know you don't know who this guy is,
Mm-mm.
tight end, who was with the Giants, top, like, high draft pick, didn't do a thing in New York, goes to Jacksonville. This year, 10 touchdowns, almost 800 yards. Christian Kirk basically was gifted $75 million, and everybody was like, why are you giving Christian Kirk that much money when he did nothing in Arizona for 3 years behind Larry Fitzgerald and AJ Green? This dude was a third string guy and he didn't do anything. He gets 1,100 yards receiving. Zay Jones is their other guy. These are the guys he's throwing to: Christian Kirk, Zay Jones, Evan Ingram, and Marvin Jones Jr. And so if you want to tell me that, like, oh, Herbert didn't have Keenan for 3 games or however many it was, and Mike Williams missed 5 games, he still had them for 12 games, 11 games. And those guys are infinitely better than whatever Jacksonville has.
Yeah. Yeah, I am. I think that as much as I would love to see the Chargers lose this game, I love seeing Jacksonville and their community and their stadium and their fan base electrified, because that's been a dead stadium and a dead market for the NFL for years.
They've been rumored to move for many years.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Well,
so
they did move.
Well,
they play
did.
one game in London every year.
Well, yeah.
But that's how bad things were in Jacksonville, that they were willing to do that.
Right.
You know? And so to see Jacksonville come alive, Jay, I compare it to Cincinnati, because for years you would see that stadium, it was half empty, and when you build a winner, the fans, they want to be part of it. In Jacksonville, I'm hoping that if you've gone cross country and you've beaten the Chargers down, and yes, Herbert was hurt in that game, but you've got him at home and you've got a fan base and your town is electrified, and you there's one game that separates the two teams. That's all. 9-8, 10-7. Both have good, young, up-and-coming star quarterbacks.
And the
For me-
AFC West didn't turn out to be what everybody thought it was going to be in the beginning of the year. They thought it was going to be this just meat grinder of a division, and they didn't even. What did they go 2-4 in that division?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm hopeful that this is where the Chargers fall, but if they win, and they could easily win this game, they
Yeah.
could so easily win this game.
I keep flip-flopping my pick. I guess I have till tomorrow,
Yeah.
but I keep flip-flopping my pick. I can't decide. Yesterday, I looked at the schedule and I was like, "Oh, they're gonna lose now because they haven't beat anybody good." But then I'm like, "Well, Jacksonville did get a lot of their wins in the AFC South too.
Right.
I know they beat
Yeah,
the
they're
Chargers, but
they're not really that good
right.
either.
They're
They're
really
not the Bengals, the
that
Bills,
great
or the
either.
Chiefs. Yeah.
There's 3 teams right now because Lamar is not practicing again, so I don't think the Ravens are in that category without him. There's 3 teams that I really like in the AFC, and the Chargers and Jaguars are not one of them.
No.
And
No.
so I think that whoever wins this game, I would probably, marker in that they lose to the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
But I still think this game's a toss-up. I don't know. I could check the spread, I guess, to see if that's changed at all.
I think it's about 2.5, right, or 3.
The Chargers are
Yeah, it
favored.
was 2
Yes.
yesterday. Yeah, the Chargers are favored
are
by 2,
favored.
and now it's dropped to 1.5 as
Sure.
of today.
Yeah.
I think it's a pick'em game, man.
It is.
I don't know.
It
Like,
is.
I think, yeah.
Alex,
You know
I'll
what's
tell
funny though?
Yeah.
If either team blows the other team out, that wouldn't surprise me either.
Yeah, I know. Hey, listen, just getting ready for this Minnesota New York game on Sunday that I'm gonna be part of the broadcast. Like that's another one of those games. Complete toss-up. Anyway, we'll talk about that coming up. Hey, real quickly though, and I do want to get to the Derek Carr story. I want to talk about Mountain Trust Realty for just one quick second. Gary Cooper is such a great partner to this show. It's been 20 years. Hard to believe. But even now, in yet another real estate downturn where interest rates have risen and prices on homes have dropped and competition to buy those homes have dropped, Gary could very easily be saying to me, "Hey, Scott, listen, now's not the time for me to be spending money advertising." But instead, what he's saying is, we're partners. We've been through highs and lows together. We're going to come through this thing. And the way we're all going to come through it is Gary's going to continue to help great friends buy or sell their homes. Been helping us for 20 years. Helped Alex and his then fiance, now wife, buy their first condo last year. It was a complicated process. She was moving jobs just as they were getting ready to close escrow. Not the right time to be doing that, but more money, more opportunity. Gary and his team navigated it. Now is the time to go check out his website, mountaintrustrualty.com, see all of his listings. But more importantly, just call him, 858-376-1299, 858-376-1299. You get a hold of him and talk to him because he is the professional in this industry. And when he says now's still a great time to buy a house and you have questions about that, talk to the pro. Talk to Gary. 858-376-1299. All right, guys, coming up. Really would like to talk about this Derek Carr situation. And the Chargers, since we were talking about the...
Oh, did you see?
Did I see?
The AFC title game has a home.
The AFC title game now has been officially moved. Should, by the way, Kansas City be hosting or, well, we'll talk about the details.
Against Buffalo. Yeah.
But also, since we were talking Chargers, Jaguars, the Chargers social media team has gone to Twitter to put out a video of all the doubters out there. Let's get to that story next. We're in the 7 Mile Casino Studios. This is Kaplan and Crew.
You're watching Kaplan and Crew tonight, powered by the mightier 1090 AM, ESPN Radio, and Your View, featuring the best sports talk in SoCal.
Locally owned and operated, not some bland, uninspired, corporate, cookie-cutter radio station crap. We simply say to those stations, Q. The mightier 1090 ESPN Radio, SoCal Sports Talk.
Drivers are getting in accidents at a rate we've never seen before, jumping 18% since 2020. There are higher incidents of speeding and more aggressive driving since the pandemic began. Please slow down and drive safely. It can save a life.
Hola, I'm J.R. Cardenas.
And I'm Vanessa Ramirez.
We're the hosts for Su Vida, where we showcase California restaurants, music,
art, culture, and so much more.
We would love to talk to you about featuring your business on our show.
Yes, and as an added bonus, you get to keep the professional video segment to repurpose and use on your website or social media channels.
Please click on the link below to get more information about how to put your business on Su Vida.
We hope to hear from you soon.
When you're in pain, you need physical therapy that works, but you want to feel safe during these times. At La Mesa Rehab, your health is our business. We screen each patient, provide masks, and constantly sanitize our private individual treatment areas so you can focus on healing. The foundation of our physical therapy is education. Our therapists care and guide you through the healing process. Ask your doctor about La Mesa Rehab.
The best care you can have at La Mesa Rehab.
Many are adding companion units, or ADUs, to bring more value to their homes. Our experience, plus our strong relationship with the city, makes adding on easier for our homeowners.
We listen to you first, then design and build. Visit murraylambert.com for your consultation.
If you're going to count yourself as a fan of this radio station, you'll need to continuously ask yourself one basic question. Am I listening enough? Pro tip, wives are not a good source for input on this. This is the mightier 1090 AM ESPN Radio.
Many are adding companion units, or ADUs, to bring more value to their homes. Our experience, plus our strong relationship with the city, makes adding on easier for our homeowners.
We listen to you first, then design and build. Visit murraylambert.com for your consultation.
At Shelter to Soldier, being a private nonprofit, we rely on the community. Thankfully, we have sponsors like the Barnes firm that get behind us.
We understand the difficulties that many of our veterans face when they come back into civilian life. And this program just seemed like the perfect fit.
Today we're catching up with Barney. He is now in our matching phase of our program. He is meeting eligible veterans in what we call speed dating.
How's it going?
So we have just recently approved 5 new veterans for our program. So Barney will be meeting every single one of them to see if he is the perfect match for them.
Barney's perfect date would be a nice long walk on the beach, and then he would like to end the night with a nice dinner with his veteran.
We got to find the right person for the right dog.
Hey, great friends, it's Scott Kaplan here, and I want you to come check out our new TV show. It's called Kaplan and Crew Tonight, every Monday through Friday at 7 o'clock right here. Now, look, it's the best of the radio show from earlier that day on the mightier 1090, and we've been doing it for 20 years, so now we're expanding the way we talk about sports and the way we can be heard and viewed.
Kaplan and Crew Tonight. Be a part of the crew. Weeknights from 7 to 8 p.m. on Your View.
Thank you for joining us. Catch Scott Kaplan and crew tonight from 7 to 8 p.m. Pacific every Monday through Friday. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and crew show on the mightier 1090 AM. ESPN Radio, SoCal Sports Talk.